In the middle of the Pacific Ocean, there is an island smaller than most airports. In 1937, two people flew 2,556 miles to reach it. They had enough fuel, but almost no way to find it. 89 years later, 3 different expeditions are searching 3 different locations, and none of them agree on where the plane went down. This is Howland Island, a flat coral strip just north of the equator, roughly 700 nautical miles southwest of Honolulu. It is about 2 kilometers long and less than a kilometer wide. From 1,000 feet in the air, it is almost invisible against the open ocean. On July 2, 1937, Amelia Earhart and her navigator Fred Noonan took off from Lae, Papua New Guinea, bound for Howland. It was the longest leg of their around-the-world flight, 2,556 miles over open ocean, with no landmarks, no GPS, and no radar. Earhart was already the most famous female pilot in the world. In 1932, she became the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. Now she was attempting a 29,000-mile flight around the equator. By the time she reached Lae, she had completed 22,000 miles across 5 continents. Her aircraft was a Lockheed Electra 10E, modified with extra fuel tanks holding 1,151 gallons, enough for 20 to 24 hours of flight depending on conditions. Her navigator, Fred Noonan, was one of the best in the world. He had charted Pan American Airways' first trans-Pacific commercial routes, turning a 21-day ocean crossing into a 5-day flight. They took off at 10 a.m. local time with approximately 1,100 gallons of fuel. The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca was waiting at Howland Island to guide them in by radio. Everything seemed ready, but a chain of failures had already begun. Before leaving Miami, Earhart had her long-range trailing wire antenna removed. This meant she could no longer transmit on 500 kilohertz, the only frequency the Itasca's direction finders could track. On top of that, neither Earhart nor Noonan knew Morse code. The Itasca could hear Earhart's voice, but she could not hear their replies. As they flew through the night, overcast skies and rain squalls blocked the stars, making celestial navigation nearly impossible. Noonan could not confirm their position, and without working two-way radio, the Itasca could not send them course corrections. At 7:42 a.m. Howland time, the Itasca received a transmission. "We must be on you, but cannot see you. Gas is running low." 1 hour later, at 8:43 a.m., came the final message. "We are on the line 157-337. This was a celestial line of position, a narrow band running northwest to southeast through Howland's approximate location. Noonan knew roughly where they were, but not exactly. Then silence. Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan were never heard from again. President Roosevelt authorized the largest air and sea search in American history. 9 ships, 66 aircraft, and 3,000 personnel scoured 250,000 square miles of ocean for 16 days at a cost of $4 million, roughly $90 million today. They found nothing. The first active theory suggests Earhart flew southeast along the 157-337 line and landed on Nikumaroro, formerly Gardner Island, about 350 nautical miles from Howland. In 1940, a British colonial officer found 13 human bones there, along with a woman's shoe and a sextant box. Later expeditions uncovered more 1930s artifacts at the same site. A 2018 forensic reanalysis determined the bone measurements matched Earhart better than 99% of individuals in a large reference sample. And satellite images reveal a 12 to 14 meter object in the island's lagoon, consistent with the Electra's overall length of 11.76 meters. A Purdue University expedition is scheduled to investigate in July 2026. The second theory holds that the plane crashed into the deep ocean near Howland. In January 2024, a company called Deep Sea Vision captured a sonar image of what appeared to be an aircraft at 16,000 feet, roughly 100 miles from Howland. But a follow-up expedition in November confirmed it was a natural rock formation. The CEO called it the cruelest formation ever created by nature. Meanwhile, Ocean exploration company Nauticos has spent 2 decades scanning over 3,600 square miles of ocean floor and is planning a 4th expedition, using restored radio equipment identical to Earhart's to narrow the crash zone. In September 2025, the U.S. government ordered the declassification of all records related to Earhart. Over 4,600 pages have been released, including Navy search maps, radio logs, and final transmissions. Among them, 7 credible distress signals received between July 2nd and 6th, 1937, with 2 logged near Gardner Island. 89 years after 2 people vanished trying to reach an island smaller than most airports, the search continues. One expedition is looking in a shallow lagoon on a remote coral island. Another is scanning miles of deep ocean floor. They cannot both be right, but after 89 years, one of them might finally end the longest missing persons case in aviation history.